My husband had brought up the idea, and I was genuinely enjoying a solo shopping trip for the first time in a while. Unexpectedly, I bumped into my in-laws, who then decided to drop by our house. They don't live close, so they were thrilled about the chance to see our daughter. On our way home, we excitedly shared photos of her. When I got back home sooner than anticipated, only my daughter was there. "I'm home." "Hold on, where's..." I had expected my husband to be home too, but he was nowhere to be found. Mandy was clueless about his whereabouts. Seriously? He left her by herself? This didn't add up. Nervous, I quickly called him. Shockingly, he flat out lied to me.
"Right now, I'm at my parents' house with our daughter."
In that split second, I decided. I was about to show my dishonest husband what trouble really looked like. My name's Rachel, 34 years old. In college, I majored in architecture, and now I'm employed at an architecture firm. Having a top-tier architect license means I earn a bit more than many others. This has led to a consistent increase in my annual income, likely surpassing many people around the same age. While I truly adore my profession, there's another motivator: my beloved family. At the moment, I live with my husband, Scott, and our daughter, Mandy. I met Scott 7 years ago, became pregnant shortly after our wedding 5 years ago, and welcomed our daughter the next year. Mandy's 4th birthday is just around the corner. Thankfully, she's been growing up healthy without any serious issues. With both Scott and me working full-time, Mandy attends daycare. From what her teacher mentions, she's befriended many kids and seems to be doing great socially. I go the extra mile in my job for the sake of my wonderful daughter and husband. On the other hand, Scott's job is at a manufacturing plant. However, I've caught wind that the plant's sales have taken a downturn. Just recently, he commented over a beer.
"If things continue this way, they might cut me to save on labor."
I was so taken aback that I choked on my coffee. Concealing my alarm, I asked, "What do you mean? Can they just lay you off out of the blue?"
Rumors have been swirling for some time, and they've actually started letting some folks go.
Now that you mention it, I guess your paychecks have been lighter lately, huh?
I'm actually thinking of picking up a part-time night job. So we should be good with bills.
Hold on, a night job?
Yeah, I've put in an application, and there's an interview lined up.
My heart sank hearing this. He's already stretched thin. Adding nighttime work seems excessive. After a pause, I voiced, "You really don't need that night job."
But with what I'm making now...
My company is on the upswing, and our profits are climbing. Financially, we're solid.
You sure?
Absolutely. I'd hate for you to burn out.
Rachel. Okay, I'll lean on you for this one.
We settled on him sticking with the plant job for the foreseeable future. I've kept it from him, But in reality, we could live comfortably on just my earnings. Bringing that up might hurt his ego. My last intention is to upset him. I only wish for him to have a stress-free job. Since our talk, he doesn't seem as downcast. In fact, he appears more upbeat. His frequent smiles warm my heart. It looks like he's less burdened about his job. That's a relief. With my steady income rise, financial concerns are off our plate. Above all, the happiness of our family is paramount. With that mindset, I've been grinding away. Yet, back then, I had no inkling that my leniency regarding his job would later come back to bite. Fast forward a month. After wrapping up at work, I picked up Mandy from daycare like always and headed home. Usually, Scott will be back by the time I start dinner. But he was notably late that day. Over dinner, Mandy wondered aloud. "Mom, why is Dad taking so long?" "I don't know," I answered, glancing at my phone. No texts from him. Post-dinner, I tried to call him, but all I got was the endless tone of an unanswered call. This was a first for us, so I couldn't help but fear the worst. He didn't have an accident, did he? But if something like that happened, surely someone would have reached out. Everything has to be all right. After tucking my daughter in, I chose to wait up for him. Around 11 p.m., I finally heard the front door. Racing to greet him, he looked taken aback.
"You're still up?"
His nonchalance irked me, prompting me to voice my frustration. "What do you mean, still up? Do you realize how late it is? You ignored all my texts. Do you have any idea how worried I was?"
"Oh, my bad. I got roped into some unexpected overtime and didn't check my phone."
"Overtime? Would a quick text have been too much to ask? Just to let me know you'd be late?"
"That's why I'm saying sorry. I promise I'll be more considerate next time. Alright?"
Seriously? After all my worrying? I'm going to bed. I sighed, turned, and made my way to the bedroom. Instead of a genuine apology, all I heard was a heavy sigh behind me. Come morning, though I tried to keep things normal for Mandy, he was visibly grouchy. "Daddy? You got in late last night. You okay?" She attempted to chat him up a few times, but he ignored her. "Daddy, are you listening? Hey, Daddy! Mom and I were really worried about you. Can you not hear my voice anymore?" Watching her verge on tears from his cold shoulder, I had to bite back my anger and comforted her. "Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. Daddy had a late work night and he's just exhausted." "Was he at work?" "Yes. He was working hard for both of us. We'll chat with him later, okay?" "All right. Sorry, Daddy, and thanks for always working so hard." She shot him a heartfelt smile, but he remained stone-faced. No matter how hard she tried, he was short with her. His childlike sulking was puzzling more than infuriating. I resolved to have him reconnect with her that evening. But starting from that day, his routine shifted to consistently coming home past midnight. Sure, he'd inform me of his late hours, but overtime was a rarity for him before. It felt off. Choosing to get to the bottom of it, I hired a private investigator to shadow him on weekdays for a couple of weeks. Mid-investigation, one day, I arrived home to Scott already there. I didn't expect you home this early. He grinned and said,
Every now and then, it's good to prioritize family. It was a slow day at work, so I took off early.
Really? Dinner will be ready soon. Just hang tight.
Got it. I'll hang out with Mandy in the meantime.
Huh? Oh, sure. Thanks. His sudden change in attitude was disconcerting. As I started cooking, Scott, playing with Mandy, called over.
Hey, Rachel. How about you take next Saturday off for yourself?
All alone?
You deserve a breather too. You've shouldered all the household responsibilities. I'll manage Mandy for the day.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. It's the least I can do.
He smiled warmly. Despite our recent tension, perhaps he was trying to be thoughtful. Maybe this was his way of extending an olive branch. My resentment began to diminish. Though it might seem minor, this gesture touched me. So, I accepted his offer and planned a solo shopping day. That weekend, I dressed up, did my makeup, and ventured downtown on my own. I started off early, explored a few art galleries I'd had on my list, treated myself to a fancier than usual lunch, and wrapped up my afternoon browsing through a high-end department store sporting my favorite labels. It was only 3 p.m., and even though Scott told me to enjoy my day and not rush back until evening, I'd already hit all the stores on my list and bagged my buys. I went to a supermarket to grab some ready-to-eat dishes and a dessert for dinner. It seemed a little early, but the idea of having an early dinner together appealed to me. As I was scanning the aisles, a voice rang out, "Rachel!" followed by a tap on my shoulder. Startled, I turned to see Mary, my mother-in-law. "Mary, what brings you here?" "You're by yourself today?" "Yeah, just me. Scott's on daddy duty with Mandy, so I'm enjoying a rare day out." "Oh, really? Jason's around too. How about we catch up over some tea?" "Sounds perfect." She flagged down Jason, my father-in-law, and we settled in a cafe near the supermarket. They actually live out in the sticks, quite a haul from the city. Turns out, they'd driven into town for a concert featuring Mary's favorite singer. It had been a hot minute since we last caught up, so our conversation flowed easily. At some point, Jason remarked,
I've been missing Mandy so much.
Picking up on that cue, I proposed. "Hey Mary, Jason, how about swinging by our place today?"
Now? You sure?
"Totally. Scott's around and I've got tomorrow off since it's Sunday. If you guys are up for it."
That sounds wonderful. We've really been missing time with Mandy.
"She'll be over the moon to see you two. Please, do come over." We then prepped to head out a tad early, and they even pitched in, picking up a bunch of dishes and desserts. On the train ride home, we gushed over recent snaps of Mandy, and soon enough, we were back. But something was off. only Mandy was home. I'm home. Hold on. Where's... I had expected Scott to be home too, but he was nowhere to be found. Mandy was clueless about his whereabouts. Seriously? He left her by herself? This didn't add up. What's he up to? Mary whispered, a touch of worry in her voice. I didn't waste a second and called Scott. When he answered with a breezy, "Hello?" I switched to speaker mode so Mary and Jason could listen in. Trying to keep my composure, I asked, "Where are you right now?"
"Now, I'm at my folks' house with Mandy."
Your folks?
Yup. Thought you were gonna be out late, so I figured I'd let them hang with Mandy. It's been a while.
I shot a glance toward Mary and Jason, who were clearly thrown off. I mean, anyone would get that this story didn't add up. Right then, it hit me. Scott was betraying me, our family, and he was going to pay for it. After hanging up, I left Mandy with Mary and Jason and made a beeline to the PI agency I'd hired earlier. I laid out the whole story and they handed over their findings. Just as I'd feared, Scott was seeing someone else. All his working late stories, all made up. Even worse, he'd lost his job and was blowing through his severance on daytime rendezvous. No doubt he's with her right this moment. As soon as his affair was confirmed, all my love for him evaporated. It wasn't long before I was dead set on a divorce. This was all so out of the blue. I'd sensed something was off. But cheating? And to think he left our little girl all alone at home for this fling? Unthinkable. Once I got home, I told everything to Mary and Jason. Both my in-laws and I were taken aback, and yeah, we were mad. Hours went by as we sat there, waiting for Scott to waltz through the door, with my in-laws right there with me for support. I rang up my sister, who lives just around the corner, to come get Mandy and watch her for the night. Then, a little after 7 p.m., in walked Scott.
"I'm back."
He strolled into the living room like it was any other day, but the three of us stared him down hard.
"What the?"
He went from casual to ghost white in a split second. Caught red-handed, he scrambled for an explanation.
"Look, Rachel, this isn't what it looks like. I was just shopping."
Shopping? Didn't you say you were with your folks? Funny thing, I bumped into them at the supermarket and rode home with them.
"Well, actually..."
And let's not forget how you left Mandy, our little girl, all alone. Also, you could sneak around with your mistress? My voice rising, I threw down the photos I'd gotten from the PI. He went mute, face drained of all color. With a stern voice, I snapped. Using your own parents as your alibi? Abandoning Mandy to be with her? You're lower than low.
"Please, I swear it won't happen again. Just give me another chance."
Another chance? Buddy, you were done the minute you pulled this stunt. There's no coming back from this. And trust me, you'll pay for what you've done. As I laid into him, my in-laws took charge, grabbing him by the arm and hustling him out. He tried to yell something, but they weren't having it, and carted him off to their place. Later, I lawyered up, filed for divorce, and went after him for alimony. With the proof I had, and my in-laws backing me up, the divorce wrapped up quick. He coughed up alimony, and now pays child support monthly. And with my in-laws keeping tabs, I doubt he'll miss a payment. From what Mary's told me, he's now bouncing between odd jobs and trying to land steady work. Frankly, I hope he's got it tough with them watching his every move. As for me and Mandy, we started fresh. I kept it simple when I told her we'd be on our own from now on, and she got it. She didn't need a lot of words. Even for her age, she's wise beyond her years. It stings, knowing she's had to deal with all this, but I'm just so thankful she's rolled with the punches. Our new normal might come with its own set of challenges, but I'm determined to stay strong with Mandy by my side and never second guess my choice.